Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew Dracy, and more comics from ye old spinner rack. Amazing Adventures, not the first volume. There was a volume in 1970 that debuted. I can't believe I'm blanking out here. The Black Widow and the Inhumans. It was a split book where one had 10 pages, the other had 10. This, I think there actually might have been an Amazing Adventures also, like well before that, like in the 50s. But anyway, this is a reprint book for the X-Men. Came out right around 1979, 1980. And I love the Bob Budiansky cover to it. With that little marshmallow-looking Sandman or Iceman. It's inked by, or no, hold on a second. It says Budiansky, but I can't make out the last name. But I'm sure somebody could look it up on comic book, what do they call those things that list all that stuff. So this is part 2 of the very first issue. At this time, Marvel's pretty shitty still. This is January 1980, but it's actually like late 79. And comics were 17 pages. And the prices kept going up. It was 40 cents, and shortly it'll be 45 cents, then 50, etc. And then when Jim Shooter came along, he went back to 22. But in the meantime, you had to split a book in half, and I don't know who did this original. I'm guessing maybe it's Al Milgrom, but it's not as heavy as his stuff. So maybe somebody at the production department, I think, might have done it. Hold on, let me get myself situated here. So then you go right back into the Stanley Jack Kirby, the famous swiped panel by Lichtenstein, who should have given Kirby $1 million for swiping that. I love how the suits were black. When John Byrne, towards the end of his run with Chris Claremont, he made their original uniforms yellow and black. Black and gold! Steelers fans. So, like this. Whee! Okay. Okay. And they end it, and they stick in a. I think it's from issue 10 of X-Men, the original. ROM, baby. Who knew that was going to take off? See, pain in the ass. Every 2 pages, 2 ads, 2 pages of comics. Well, they reprint the backup stories. Their backup stories here are backup stories that were in X-Men number 38, I think it is, or 28. I can't read that. It's all mushed up. But Werner Roth and Stan Lee was the editor, but Roy Thomas was the writer, and he came up with the great backstory for all the different characters, and it worked well there. I love that. It's so awkward. I love it, that pose. Man, it's beautiful. Okay, but if anybody knows, I'll have to ask. Maybe Danny Fingeroth, I think, was the editor. I'll have to ask him. All right, I just bought this recently, and I avoid it like the plague because Secret Wars 2 continues in this issue. Secret Wars 1 was pretty good. Halfway through it, I kind of dipped out of it because it was kind of, I don't know. It just something about it was kind of, it started off grand, and it kind of became weird and not that exciting. So Secret Wars 2 came along because first one sold so well, and then Shooter or the money people above said, well, we got to have them cross over in every friggin' Marvel comic that month. And actually, no, excuse me, it was over an 8-month period that the book lasted 8 issues. So this is like getting it over with. Carl Potts, I have to do another episode on Doctor Strange. Carl Potts and the editor before him really brought out the best artists for Doctor Strange. I mean, you had Michael Golden, you had Marshall Rogers, you had Kevin Nolan, you had Dan Green, you had I said Michael Golden, you had Paul Smith, did some of his very best work. And I love this art. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and if you're a Marvel fan, and the Marvel style was still pretty much in place, but there were little pinpricks of of issues, little pinpricks into the Marvel Universe where you could experiment a bit. Like Bill Sienkiewicz, he got away doing whatever he wanted to do, and a lot of other people would not be able to, maybe, because there are other artists that Shooter liked to stick things into a 9-panel grid that were all mid-sized. Man, I love his art. It's so different. Badger's a great artist. He inked the Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom graphic novel, and there he is, Beyonder with the kicky perm. Neat stuff, but I friggin' hate that. I never want to saw him again. I'd be too soon. Is that how you say it? I'm just muttering. Wally Wood. Okay, this went to the PXs, which was the in the Army. This was published to go to the PXs at the armies, the stores there that provide all kinds of food and other stuff like that, special cool shit. And Hollywood worked out a deal with them. Your investment to tomorrow, Mesa Hills Western Home Sites. I love it. The price on there. And here's the other. Here's Rings. That was also in regular comics too. But so it really had a right to Armed Forces distribution, PO box, etc., etc. And it actually is a good. I don't know. Sometimes when you're going outside of the usual magazine distributors, it's hard to land a comics gig outside of it. Like, they had to make an individual deal with the Armed Forces for this book. I think 2 or 3 issues came out. I can't remember. There's not even issue 1 on here, is there? But anyway, Ditko and Wood. Steve Ditko and Wally Wood. What a team. What a team. Coloring. Like that, she's just like, your old Jetta sent you on this with a giant hook, and like a fish will yank you in. But what I do like about Ditko doing this is the poses are different, because Wally Wood at this time was really mailing it in. He had like 8 stock poses that he used. And I hate saying that about him. Wally Wood and Ralph Reese, who I know nothing about except that he's a great inker, and he did a bunch of he inked a bunch of Gil Kane covers around 72 or 73. I love that guy. Glom can't move. Go, leave Glom here. So I guess he was kind of like a Hulk. Filled that need. Throws that person. Whoa. Really cool stuff. Oh, and then there's a fantasy story. Dragonella. Script by Ron White. Not the comedian. I don't know who that guy is. Don't matter. I've been picking up a lot of indie books from the dollar rack. This is a Justice Machine featuring the Elementals. I always admired the condition. I mean, the high quality they would put into these. Kamiko is just really good. I don't know if they were run well or not. Oh, I just spared you a big old sneeze. Thankfully, nothing got on my comics. Kamiko, I loved the look of it. It had like a confident look to it. And Bill Willingham created the Elementals. That's where he first got his name. And Justice Machine is owned by Michael Gustovich. Yeah. Okay. And, this is... What I like about this paper is... it's not the thick Baxter paper, but it is thicker than regular newsprint. It's much better, and it takes the ink very well and the color very well. So for some reason, this book never took off, and I don't know why. And it maybe the sporadic publishing, because a lot of it was self-publishing, and that cost a fortune, especially if you're in color, and especially this time in comics. There were so many new publishers. The thing that's weird is that guy's called Demon, and he looks more like a swashbuckler. I would never have called him demon, but you know, nobody asked my advice, and there's no need to either. That's kind of fun. Mage, the book that made Matt Wagner a legend. Johnny Quest, Doug Wildey. Good stuff. I had these issues, but I don't know where they went. So this is good, but it's a little too much mid-range images, and it's you know, you could kind of like tilt the characters forward, or kind of, you know, it's not, it just doesn't suggest a lot of excitement, and you know, I'm just saying, that's all. Here come the elementals. That's a great page. And Gustovich is an interesting guy. He's penciled a lot of stuff. He's inked a lot of stuff. He's just one of those guys you find a little bit everywhere. That's a great, you know, let's get ready to rumble. Hope I don't get taken down with a copyright strike for that. And the last one is the very first issue of Thor I ever found. Most of my comics, early comics, before I really got hit with the bug bad, were laying around someone's house. You know, you and your parents go to somebody else's house, and the parents talk, and there's no real kids around, or if there are kids around, they're like teenagers, and they're off doing other stuff, and they have comics laying around, and they're like, you can have them, I ain't reading them. That's kids stuff. So this is issue 196, and the guy's name is Cartag. I wonder if like Jerry Conway thought of it at the DMV or something. Cartag. Yep, there's a nice script there. And John Buscema, who unfortunately is stuck with Vinnie Coletta. It's just, it really takes a lot of, I don't know. There are times, I mean, there have been panels and pages where Coletta stuff works well, especially when it comes to doing like the blush on people's faces and eyes and stuff like that. But then there's some stuff he takes the energy out of. So these guys thought they were being like whining and dining with women, and they turned out to be these demons. Very Kirby inspired there. To save thee, must I kill thee? God, I can't tell you how many friggin' comics have that as their title inside, like some issue, any, you know, random issue, you know, Iron Man, you know, Hulk, whatever. To save thee, must I kill thee? I always hate that phrase. And then the second one was, you know, here comes, you know, let's say, the Witch Queen. Here she comes. Will she save the world or destroy it? And I just thought that was really corny. Especially like if it's a superhero comic where it's obviously a superhero. And there we go. My first appearance of Mangog. He appeared, you know, 30, 40 issues prior, and he was creepy. I was like, holy shit, he's a badass. And that's Hildegard, who she stuck around for a while in the 70s. She was there during when Rich Buckler came along and all that. And I don't know what happened to her, but it was interesting to have another female Asgardian, you know, to pal around with. You know, not just Sif and the dudes, not just Benny and the Jets. That stuff's kind of neat. I like that. Look at that. Oh my god. That's so cool. I mean, Buscema really wasn't, you know, he liked Thor because it was close to Conan, where he didn't have to drive, he didn't have to draw like all these buildings and, you know, stuff that just consumes a lot of time. So this was like a fantasy book. And then Odin shows up, and guess what? You'll never believe it. He fixes everything. Like he does always. Always. Don't worry, anybody. I hate that. It's like, even when Lee and Kirby were doing this, so many times, Odin would be in the Odin sleep, which he needed to rest a whole day or a week or so to restore his powers and help the realm eternal. And then always Loki would come along and take advantage and fuck shit up. And then all of a sudden, everything's terrible. The end of the world. Oh, the Odin sword. Blah 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 blah. And then Odin, somebody wakes him up. Hey, wake up. Hey man, shit's going on. You're that son of yours. He's you won't believe it, but he's the evil one, the mischievous one. He's trying to destroy Asgard and take over it, and blah blah blah. Oh, okay. Might as well. So he is I haven't used this term in about a couple months, but he is the Deus Ex Machina, the God in the machine that tells you, don't worry, nothing matters here, no problems, no deaths, no injuries, whatever. And that's such a cop-out. I hate that. There's Odin, and then there's Doctor Strange. There's always, like when Peter Parker, in the Brian Michael Bendis eras, he had Spider-Man unmasked, and everybody knew who Peter Parker was. But then he went to Doctor Strange, and first they said, "Oh, we're not going to go to Doctor Strange," but they did. So anyway, nonetheless, this is a fun read. I had a story that I think would be really, really cool, and I asked somebody about this, and I don't think it's ever been done. Listen to me, I'm all big shot. Odin had been, every time, like I'm talking like 4 or 5 times before Walt Simonson came along and broke all the routines, Odin would be in his precious Odin sleep, where he'd collect his energy and such and restore. He needed his rest, and he was always woken up by somebody. And I thought, well, what if he was waking up too many times and his powers had lessened dramatically, almost permanently, because he never got a good night's sleep. And it sounds silly when I put it that way, but I always thought that'd be interesting. Or if the energy that he did not get to replenish himself through his own sleep went somewhere else and became another entity that would threaten the realm eternal and the universe as we know it. Gartag. So if you Marvel guys who are writing Thor now, keep that in mind. Just make a footnote that said, but from suggestion from Drew Geraci, that's Geraci, and I'll give you a wink and a nod. You don't have to pay me shit. So that's it, everybody, and have a good, happy Halloween going into November already of 2024. Take care, everybody.